let's all think good thoughts of him today as he's going in front of several superintendents and professors from USC doing his thing. So again, Will, good luck to you. I want to start first with a quote that I heard this Monday. I'm on a call with the county superintendent and all the superintendents in LA County, and the quote was really salient, and that's how I want to preface my start this morning. So we'll start there. All we've been hearing about is, oh my gosh, things are going to be so difficult next year, and be prepared. And so we asked, like, the head of LACO's financial office, the question was, please tell us what the budget's going to look like so we can budget and plan. All we can say is it will be significantly uncertain. So I thought that was brilliant. That was in all of the different types of things that I've been hearing and going around in circles. All we can say is it will be significantly uncertain was a brilliant way of saying, I don't know. So that doesn't help me or this district or the 80 school districts in Los Angeles County trying to budget. So we have to plan and prepare for multiple scenarios. And so I want to start off with answering some anxiety questions. I had a good conversation with the two LNTA co-presidents yesterday. And while I was meeting with them for an hour and a half, they were getting texts from teachers, ask them about this, ask them about this, ask them about this. So I know there's a lot of anxiety out there. I cannot reduce your anxiety, but I can tell you what I know to a certain extent. So let's start with kind of the list of the top 6 things that I recall my conversation yesterday with LNTA co-presidents were. Number 1, people were worried about, am I going to get laid off? What's going to happen as a teacher? And so prior to the March 15th deadline, the district did reduce in numbers 3 teachers from the district due to declining enrollment. So those 3 teachers have been notified. It's already been handled. And so we do not anticipate, unless there are significant changes in August, and that's me with my doublespeak, unless there's significant changes in August, that we would have to do something. And what would significant changes in August be? Well, we have some sort of opening and maybe we lose half our population of kids, or there is some issues that our kids have disappeared or something like that. So it would have to be something ADA reliant. But right now, with regards to who got laid off as a teacher for next year, 3 teachers were, they've been notified. And so if that was not you, you don't need to worry about it. Number 2, I'll probably pop into the middle school Zoom next week and talk to you. And the game plan is one of your staff will be moved over to Aeolian. Per the contract, I'll put something out, explain it to you, and give information to Shannon to share with you, asking for volunteers first. But I need to work with my elementary principals as we kind of start working on what the teaching assignments are for next year, because I want to be able to say, here's what the position that is going to be available. In past years, I've said, if you're a middle school teacher, I'll move you from, if you were 7th and 8th, I'll try and move you down to 6th. Because of all the changes that are taking place, that may not necessarily be something I can do this year. So again, what I'm going to be doing is saying to the elementary principals, I need to take a look at teaching staff assignments based on the number of kids that we have now. Let's create those staff assignments. Then I can say, here's the vacancy. And I hope to be able to let you know that by next Tuesday when we meet. But we'll see. Okay, so we can kind of do some projections. It may be a week off from next week, but that is also coming. I'm going to say this numerous times because this threw a lot of people for a loop when I said that there would not be any summer school, or the principal said there would not be any summer school this year. In past years, all we've done is extended school year for special education students. So the last 3 years, we've had a really robust PE, enrichment, robotics, STEAM, as well as intervention. Those are all things that are discretionary for the district to do. And so that starts, a new budget, but it's also, we're still at a stay-at-home order from the governor and from the LA County Department of Public Health. So bringing any kind of kids into the school does not make any sense. So we're going to do what we've done in the past with regards to only offering summer school to those students who are in special education classes. those summer school programs will be virtual like you have been doing now. So again, I'm going to be working with Raymond, and we're going to be talking about it a little bit later. I really need to know a hard count because, again, I may have classes, but I don't know how large the classes will be. When we move over into the summer work, that is an hourly kind of job. Right now, everyone is getting paid with their primary jobs have been sight unseen through the end of the school year. But when we transition to summer school, that has always been paid on an hourly basis. So once I know how many special education kids are going to be signed up, then I can fly and say, here's the classes that I need. If there are special education teachers who do not want to teach those classes, then I will make them available to general ed teachers based on what the contract says about if you taught last year, you have to give a chance to somebody else. So I'll be following the contract with regards to that. With regards to classified, I do not anticipate meeting the amount of classified staff that I've used for summer school in the past. If you are virtually communicating with your kids online, we do not need one-to-ones with students. So again, we'll be looking at that as well. That is why I need to be very aggressive in trying to capture who's going to be here as a student and who wants to come. So I'll be asking the principals help to work with their staff to communicate with their parents so we can get a good hard count by mid-May, so we can try and figure out how many people do we need, how many assistants might we need per class. It will not be what we've done in the past. So it'll be radically different. But again, it starts with knowing how many kids we're going to have. There was a question with regards to, well, if we're not doing summer schools or any possible other opportunities for summer work for staff. At this time, there might be some PD that's available if we're not doing summer school. That's a possibility, but again, it would be virtual. I can't have you guys come on campus as long as we have the school closed. So those are things that we're just trying to get information out to you so you can make planning now for the summer. And later we'll talk about what next year might look like. As I mentioned before, the governor surprised all of us. And I know one of the questions you had is, hey, the governor said we're thinking about bringing kids back in July. That was news to me. And I was on a call with all the superintendents in LA County on Monday. That was a news to them. So I don't think it has any legs. I think he's postulating out loud, wouldn't it be a good idea to bring our kids back early since they've been missing school, which most people can say, yeah, that would be a good idea. But what supersedes everything is the Department of Public Health's stay-at-home order, which expires May 15th. So kind of the things that we need to watch is that May 15th deadline going to be extended? Is the governor's shelter-in-place order that he's put out going to be extended? Because those things would have to be loosened before anything could happen in July, and you just can't pull a July start date out of your hat. So they would have to have those conversations within this month, which I know that they are. So although I thought it was just the governor thinking out loud the way our president does sometimes at press conferences, I know that the superintendent of public instruction, Tony Thurmond, is meeting and having conversations, trying to figure out, I think what he meant to say was this. So more to come on that, but I have not heard anything at all. I was just as taken aback as all of you were, and not as anxious as you were, but again, I think that it's something to consider with regards to, yes, we want to get our kids in the classroom, but we can't do it unless the stay-at-home order and the Department of Public Health order that is currently in place and expires on May 15th is lifted. And right now, as I show you statistics about how we're doing with in LA County in this area, they're still going up. So that has not decreased at all. And again, the stay-at-home order just requires the flattening of the curve so we don't overwhelm the hospitals with COVID-19 cases. Does nothing to extinguish the spread of it. There is no vaccine. They said it would take at least a year to 18 months to develop one. And so the things that they're thinking about with all of the government's just trying to say, let's just send people back to work, is trying to get enough people exposed so that there isn't anywhere for the virus to travel. Okay, that is what is kind of on the table when people say we want to open things back. Let's just let people out to get exposed, like you would with measles, and then bring them back. But but measles is not Corona-19, COVID-19. So those are the issues that we're dealing with. But right now, the Department of Public Health order is still in place. With regards to special education staff, I'll meet with you. I'll try and schedule something next week. I got to look at my schedule. I'll work with your principals and say, I have, here's an opportunity to come talk to me. I know you're concerned about all the legal ramifications of IEPs and what are we going to do with annuals in 3 years. And I'm the case carrier. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So I'd be more than happy to meet with you and answer the questions. There are things that I have been working on. I know Raymond is trying to ease your anxiety and ease your tension with regards to what you're feeling, but it might be better if you ask your questions directly to me and I can tell you here's what the game plan is and this is how I would handle any issues that might arise. And since my anxiety list is pretty high, and if I haven't gotten your anxiety up yet, if it wasn't up before, and it is now probably, on our staff resource page, I will be putting a link on there for our LA County Office of Education EASE program, which is a program that is free to all classified and certificated employees and their families for at least 3 counseling sessions for work stress, trying to handle what's going on in your life. If you feel as if, oh my gosh, there's just all these issues going on, you just need someone to talk to, it's free. The district pays into it. And so I'm going to put the website link so you can click on it and read about it. And they also do a piece every week about wellness. And so we'll be putting that on there as well, just as you kind of mediate your own anxiety about the certainty of uncertainty as we move forward for next year. Okay. If you go back and take a look at all of the district priorities, the chart has kind of been changing, and I updated this as well. So again, there's keeping everybody safe is the priority, and where the governments in California and United States is having issue as well. If you keep everybody safe and you keep them in their house and they're not working, and the economy is tanking. And again, what I'm saying and what I have been saying for the last couple of weeks is we're fortunate. I'm thankful that the state legislature said no, pay all classified, pay all certificated their salaries because they're staying at home, have them work at home for the rest of the school year. Okay. But again, another 4 million people applied for unemployment nationwide this past year. I think total unemployment is approaching 20%. So it's just a rampant situation that is affecting everybody. And kind of the first steps of how is it affecting the district is summer school. In terms of yes, there is a level of we don't want kids to come back, and if we're under orders not to, but also we're projecting what are the deficits that we're going to have for next year. Because the governor and all of the financial people that we hire to give us information sooner rather than later is saying there's going to be cuts, you're not going to get as much, so prepare your budgets already. So that has my anxiety going up and Doug's anxiety going up to an exponential rate of about 10. So those are things we're working on, but keeping students safe, limiting people coming into school. Again, I've seen people come on campus. So if you're coming on campus, work through your principal. There should be no more than 10 people on campus at a time. It looks like when you come on campus, please wear your mask. And the mask is not so you catch it from somebody else, but if you have something or you've been exposed, that you don't expose somebody else. And again, we'll be notifying probably our summer school and our special ed people next week about what summer school will look like. We are going to continue to feed our kids throughout the remainder of this year, and we're looking to add Aeolian next Monday, as a third site. So we'll have Aeolian, Aeolian, Rancho, and the middle school from 9 to 10:30 next week. And we're also looking to add a supper program for our students. We had that last year for our Think Together kids, but we're looking at that as another way to provide food for the kids. It would still be operated off of the same way we do it from 9 to 10:30. We would just give them additional bags of food. Every district is doing it differently. One is just sometimes just one central location twice a week. Some districts have one huge food meal distribution per week. So again, we'll be doing Monday and Wednesday, and we'll just be adding another bag of food to the kids when we get the separate program in May off the ground. As we continue with the distance learning model, I think everyone is feeling comfortable with it. And again, we're not looking to radically change anything for the remainder of the year. We know the baseline is distributing the learning packets, which you guys have gotten down pat, that we are continuing to distribute our Chromebooks to the kids for the remainder of the year. We purchased more so we can get more of our Chromebooks out to the kids. We're also in the process of exploring contracts for Wi-Fi hotspots. We have 2 vendors that we're looking at. So for those kids that we've identified who do not have connectivity at home, that we can provide something to them. And for the remainder of this year, as I talk to your principals and I say, okay, here's what we've done this year. Let's ensure that everyone knows how to Zoom. Let's ensure everyone knows how to do a Google Classroom. Let's ensure that all your principals are co-teachers on your Google Classroom so they can see and monitor what's going on. And what other skills might teachers need just to make sure that they're more proficient and they feel more comfortable with it. That's really what May through the and beginning of May through the end of May is really what we need to do, so that you have the skill set necessary to be flexible to whatever happens next year. Okay, so I'll be asking the principals whether we come up with some sort of here are the things that everyone should know how to do, which the majority of you all do. So again, thank you very much for jumping in to the deep end and learning the skills that you did not necessarily have. And for those of you who do have the skills, learning how to do them more effectively. You've done a great job, and I really appreciate that. But as I have you for basically one more month, I need to make sure that before you go into the summer, the things that we need for you to do and might have to do next year, you feel comfortable and we've been able to provide you the PD that you need. Okay, so imperative, and again, the best thing that I can do in a sea of uncertainty is to be honest with you. And I don't know what next year is going to look like. But if you turn on the news and all you hear about is the economy, the economy, the economy, and I am hearing from the state level, here's what's going to happen. Be prepared because the revenues that have normally go into the state for taxes aren't as high, and we won't have a clear picture of what we're going to get. So I need to be flexible in thought in terms of what needs to happen. So it used to be, something I didn't put on the anxiety list was, so what does next year look like? Are we doing early bird, late bird? Are we doing a few kids coming in? All I can say is what you are doing currently will probably play a part into what we do next year. It's very reasonable that if come the summer, if things go much more rampant with the spread of COVID-19, that we'd have to start August in a virtual world, or go into September. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I do know that the things that you are doing now, you'll probably need to do them again for next year, if not for a good portion of the year, at least the start of the year in case there is some adjustment. But it's all predicated upon the Department of Public Health telling us whether they're lifting the order or not, or whether it's safe or not. Okay, so the whole July scenario about bringing kids back, probably, economy related. If the kids are in school, that means their parents don't have to stay home and they can go back to work. So getting the kids in school may be the first prong of starting the economy back up in California. So, more to come on that. So again, instructional continuity, ensuring the kids have the devices, being honest with you and the parents about what we're doing. Um, and the reality, again, it's a sea of uncertainty, but I'm giving you, what I know right now. Probably what we are doing currently will be what we'll need to do to at least to a certain extent next year. Okay. So when I said, I'm not real keen on bringing people back, this was the LA County cases from last week to this week. They've gone up. There are more cases in Los Angeles, Whittier area. So it's not stopped. It's not, not gotten a decrease just because we're staying at home. So that is what it's going to boil down to. What is acceptable in terms of bringing people back and having them get exposed and get sick and overwhelming hospitals when there is no treatment and no cure currently for the virus. Okay. But as you can see, right where we work in the area, still lots of cases. So again, we have about 500, I believe. I think we'll get the more accurate numbers, Chromebooks distributed, which we have 1,500, so a third of our kids have them now. Our intent would be to try and have our students keep them over the summer. And so as opposed to just getting them out and then trying to bring them back, I think if we're able to get them out, then we should be able to maintain them there and then roll them over for next year as opposed to recollecting them and then redistributing them again. Again, the parents and staff are using our distance resources. But again, as I mentioned before, if we're going to have to do a virtual piece for next year, what are the skills, what are the things that teachers need support in to be in a better shape? And again, this is not Jonathan dropping this on you that, hey, I want to be the district that does virtual learning in the Whittier area. We're in the middle of a pandemic. The state of California wants, if you remember back when we did the packets, the appropriate response from the state or what they were saying was, we want extended learning opportunities, which was the packets. Okay. That's what every district was doing. And then it transitioned to, you should be doing a virtual learning piece, which is getting technology into the students' hands, getting teachers to have contact with the kids, which because we had technology in our district, we were able to transition to, and all the districts in Whittier are doing it differently. But we were positioned to get technology into the kids' hands, even though that was not what was on our radar screen. So again, we have to see where we are on May 15th, whether they're going to extend the stay-at-home order. We're going to monitor what the governors may revise. When the governor does his budget, he always says, okay, I put my budget out in January, and now I need to revise it, and then you make the real budget in June. So if he comes out and says, we did not receive the revenue that we needed, here's where we're looking to make cuts unilaterally across the board in all these different divisions, and here's what we're going to be less in for the schools, here's going to be less in for all these different things. That's what I'll be looking for, and that's what I'll be keeping you abreast of. And again, as I keep mentioning this multiple times, summer school only for the special ed kids in a virtual level, okay? Just so that people do not get kind of caught unaware that, oh my gosh, I was counting on that money for summer school and you didn't let me know. Summer school only at this time for our special education students. So with regards to wash, rinse, repeat, it's instructional shampoo at this point in time. Do your routines, get confident of the things that you are doing. And then what we will do is try and standardize everything a little bit more. And so to get ready for next year, it'll just be, here's what you've already done already. Here's what we look like to do for next year. And this is the pieces that we're adding. Again, I go back to what I prefaced this conversation with. I had good conversations with Chris and Erica, your LNTA co-presidents, to say specifically, the intent was not to overwhelm anybody. The intent was, how do we do things in a instructionally prudent manner, get information to the kids, but not overwhelm our staff. So I think we've been pretty successful in what we've accomplished in such a short period of time. I'm really proud of that. So the only difference that I would see for next year, some version of what we're doing now, probably a little more structured with regards to time commitments of what we're looking to do for the kids. And if we can get you into the classrooms, I would like to get you back into the classrooms. You know, and that may be something to consider. If I can't get the students back into the classrooms, maybe look possibly to get the teachers back in the classrooms with no kids if we're still under a stay-at-home order where you can have people coming in. So lots of different scenarios. I'll let you know as we keep discussing. But because I have no playbook other than do your best, which is what the direction is from the state of California to all 1,000 school districts in California, our best is what we are doing, providing learning packets to the kids, providing virtual learning, teacher contact every week, providing breakout rooms for the assistants to work with SPED, SPED kids, and trying to augment getting the technology in the hands of those kids who don't have it. That is our best, and I think that's what we're accomplishing, okay? Again, we're still, you know, whenever a chance you get to dojo your kids or to email, just over communicate. Free food. We are feeding any kid who comes 0 to 18 to our school sites, as all the other school districts are in the area. So if our kids go to Pioneer, they will get fed over there as well. So starting next week, 9 to 10:30, Aeolian, Rancho, and the middle school is what we're looking to do. But again, please over communicate this. Shannon puts out voice messages every Monday and Wednesday morning. Please come get your food, but please encourage kids to come. All of those little tiny milks add up. And even though they're for the kids, once they go home and they're in the refrigerator and I don't know who else is in the house, you know, the family can benefit as well. But the meals are for the kids. So please encourage them to come. Our next step for trying to record some social media things is that we'll be contacting you to do Los Nietos is family, just like we did Hey We Are Here For You, and just doing a little bit of the CEL social emotional learning outreach to our community members. When I was at Rancho today, or Rancho this week, distributing food to the families, and saw a lot of parents that I knew when I was a principal, or kids I knew who are now parents when I was a principal. And by and large, people are so incredibly thankful that they have the opportunity to just come and get some food, and thankful to have some human contact because everybody is sheltered and outside of their family. They don't get a chance to do anything. So we just want to continue reiterating that with Los Nietos Committee. Once this is done, and it will get done at some point, we will regroup, but we don't want to lose the ties of why we think our district is special and why we think our district is uniquely designed to meet the needs of the students here. So that we'll be contacting you with regards to that, so you can sign up. Lastly, Doug had only one comment this week, and that's today is payday. If you need to come pick up your checks, we're here till 5. Come pick up your checks, and your checks will be here. If you do not pick up, if you have direct deposit, you normally get your pay stubs, and we give them to the schools. Don't come by and pick them up. If you come by today, you can get them. Otherwise, as of tomorrow, we're just going to mail them to your house. Okay? That way you don't have to come here. And it's just a simple thing. So if we're here today to pass out checks, and if you need to get your checks, we'll continue to be here. They'll be here at the district office. But with regards to your pay stubs, we will get that to you through the mail. Okay? And that's all I have for this week.
Okay, I'll be brief. As you know, my agenda is, got a few other things happening in a few minutes here. So principals will probably talk more in detail about some of the things I'm going over today. So just hold on tight, because I'll try to be brief, be brilliant, and be out in maybe 10 minutes. All right, so device distribution plan, where are we, what's happening? As of these numbers, as of Monday night, device distribution. Just want to highlight that Base has home devices, That was based on the survey of Qualtrics we did of parents early on during the COVID-19 period. Right now, almost 60% of our students across the district have a device. So where are we in terms of distance learning? How possible is it? What we distributed versus who's shown up, who's answered the calls versus who reported they have stuff at home. We're at almost 60%. Today, we'll probably go over 60 with those coming out. So we'll talk more about this because one of the things we know to be true, we have devices, we made phone calls. How do we get parents to come out? Now is the question. And so there's a spreadsheet that principals have access to. You'll see Lorena, Christina, Kathy, Huvenal, they've been leaving 3 and 4 messages and folks aren't responding. So we gotta be creative, and that's really, it goes back to the need for us to have a holistic plan for our distance learning. And if you remember, we said instructional packets, the academic ones, are the foundation. So for those 40% that don't have a device, be it because they don't want to, don't have internet, haven't responded to a survey, whatever it may be, we need to make sure we can still support them and be equitable. The online learning you see right there, which thank you all. Been doing great with your Zoom. Hats off to you, Sonia. She used the waiting room and somebody didn't sound right, didn't let them in, and we're staying relatively safe. So thank you everybody for using the safety, using Google Meet, using Google Classroom to get information for distance learning out to those kids. And also for you staff who are using the online learning supplemental software such as Khan, Virtual Academies, et cetera, thank you, because this is our distance learning program. All of those elements embody what we're doing. So when it comes to professional learning, just want to remind everyone, we know we have a lot of things we're offering. There's a lot of stuff out there on the professional website, professional learning. Please use the month of May to get the fundamentals together, the how-tos. How do I do Classroom, Google Classroom? How do I do Zoom? How do I use my benchmark? How do I use my amplifier, whatever, the how-tos. Because the month of June will probably be a professional learning period where we're not talking about how to, but how do we now use those tools to get ready for next year? So as we get ready to start talking about, we won't have summer school in June, we'll have professional learning as some scaled down version. We'll get more details to you in the next couple of weeks. That is going to be the focus. So it's really important that you take advantage of those professional learnings that are out there. Go to the website every morning, pop in, take a look, because sometimes we're getting new webinars the night before. And this is as of Monday, so hey, Aeolian, great job. There are 33 people that completed their survey. It doesn't mean only 32 people attended a professional learning session, but they attended and completed the survey. So we need that information. This week, the state started putting out some guidelines for LCAP reporting. And one of the things we're going to have to report as a district is what do we do during this period of time for funding, for education, for our professional learning. And so we need those metrics. We need that information so we can turn that report into the state and not try and do it in the rear and ask you, do you remember what you attended? So please, any session that you go into, complete the survey, submit it. That way we have record for when we have to submit the information to the state. And classified, we need some emails from you. So if we, things aren't addressing your needs, let us know, and we're going to work more in that area to develop more stuff to help support your needs as we look at what the instructional program will be next year. We're building multiple scenarios because we don't have the details yet from the state. So principals, district office, we're thinking about, okay, are we doing a blended program? What does that look like? What are the skills needed? If we're doing a distant learning where it's all 4 days, 5 days a week where you're away, or 3 days a week, we don't know. So we just need to build all the skills necessary to be able to meet the demand of the program at that time. Just would like to also bring back something I talked about last week. And the surveys are important. And why are they important? Because we are definitely focusing what you're giving us for information. We're targeting those professional learning to support the needs that you are articulating. So 3 areas stood out last week. We talked about reduced student engagement. So you'll see a lot more webinars along that line. How do we keep our students engaged? Difficulty communicating with students and tools and technology not working as expected. And so won't get into that this week, but we did some major things in the past 48 hours with our E-rate, along with some more equipment that's really going to help accelerate the lack of technology and the need for technology to get in the way of you educating kids. So not this week, you'll hear more about it next week in detail. We'd like to remind everybody the social emotional learning page. Thank you for those who have been participating in that, doing that with your kids. I think you know, like us, that it's kind of a stressful time. Our kids need that. And so doing simple flip grids, you know, with them to find out how they're doing, take advantage of that. Please go to the website and share your ideas. How are you engaging with students on a social and emotional level? I talked about the professional learning. Please go there. The Read Aloud Challenge. I want to really, really say thank you for those who jumped on board for the Read Aloud Challenge. And you can take a look here. We have videos posted on the website. Parents have been really excited, and kids going and seeing staff faces and then reading the story. So I want to thank you, Principal Spey. Thank you, Ms. Deanda, Ms. Bowie, Martinez, Ms. Morellis, Principal Collazo, Mr. Finkstra, and Ms. Sullivan. So we have those there on the parent website so that parents can have some other things so that the kids can go see. So it doesn't matter what your job classification is. You have a book, hey, read it, do a Zoom, send us a video, and we'll be happy to post it. I want to thank everybody for coming out to the watch party last week. Yesterday. Next week, we will be having Monica try to do some stuff with us on watch party. It will be a physical watch party, very different than our previous ones. And yesterday was a great video by Rita Peterson, I messed up her name. But she was great talking about we need to be champions for our kids. And so during this pandemic, we got to remember they need us to help champion them through these hard times. There we go. And if you didn't jump into the watch party, please go take a look at it. It's on the website and that information is there. And thank you for those people who are doing the Rotten Tomatoes, doing your rating. We want everyone to share and just help with the mental state because it's a lot we're doing. And we appreciate everybody staying healthy, keeping your family healthy, and participating with us. So like I said, I got to run, so I'm being really brief, but you're in good hands, and I'm going to turn it over now to Mr. Tan. Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Sullivan, too, who will take over the sharing.
Okay, bear with me just for a second while I get these slides up.
Ahorita sigue tu tío.
All right, take it away.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's good to see everyone. Let's see, where's my slide? I think we have a couple more slides to go before you get to mine, Jessica.
Oh, sorry. Here we go. Nope. Oh. My mistake. Here we go.
Okay. So I just want to reiterate what I have shared with you guys so far, which is to provide what's appropriate for our students in light of the school dismissal and resources available, which is basically in line with what Mr. Vasquez has shared. There are just a lot of questions that we don't have the answers yet. So we're continuing to work towards getting the answers, providing guidance to you guys. Okay, the next slide. So I want to thank everyone who participated in last week's special ed Zoom meeting. It was a good turnout. A lot of you have a lot of good questions, and I was able to talk about some of the concerns and questions that you have. And I just want to let you guys know that the new meeting dates and times have already been updated on the Google document that I share with all of you. So please sign up when you get a chance. Based on the feedback that I got last week, the consensus is to hold the meetings every other week, unless there's something urgent, or if there's a need to hold the meeting more frequently, then we'll do that. But as of now, it will be every other week. So we'll continue our special meeting next week. So please sign up when you get a chance to. And Jessica was kind enough to upload the video from last week's meeting to our website. So if you can't participate in that because it doesn't work out with the schedule, you can always play the video and get all the information that you need. And whatever information that I need to send out, like any documents, Jessica has been helping me to upload it to the website so you guys can just download it from there. And if you have any questions or concerns, and if you feel that you can't wait until the next meeting, just let me know, reach out to me, call me, email me. I'm always available to answer any questions, okay? And next slide. Okay, some of you I know that are getting emails from Kathy to fix the SACE and CalPERS error, but I just want to let you know that the CalPERS error transactions and reporting has been disabled as of this Tuesday, so you won't be able to fix any errors. So if you haven't get a chance to fix the errors, don't worry about it. And once it's back up again, then we'll send you the reminder to fix your errors again, okay? And the next one. Okay, so like Mr. Vasquez has said about the ESY list. So I'll be sharing a Google Doc with you guys, or Google Sheet, where you can basically indicate parents who have expressed interest to send their kids to ESY, which will still be virtual learning as of now. So we're talking about kids that you already have the IEPs for this year. That's the list that you can start with. So you can just ask them, we'll be offering virtual IP. Are you interested in us having your kids participate? And you can just mark it yes or no. And for those students who haven't had the annual IEP yet because of the closure, I will talk about it in the next week's special Zoom meeting. So just whenever you have a chance to talk to the parents, it can be either during Zoom session or when you call them or email them, just ask them if they're interested. Okay, and then we'll continue to just update the sheet so that we can get a more accurate count as to how many students may be coming in to participate. And if parents ask you further information about what it's going to look like, then just let them know that as of now it's virtual IEP and virtual learning, and we're continuing to work on the details. And as we have more details, more information, we'll be sharing out. So as of now, I just want you guys to start for the students who already has ESY determined on their IEP because they already have their annuals held. Okay, and then next one. Okay, so TK kindergarten and new student registration. If you guys have any contact with parents, please let them know that registration is still ongoing, even though the schools are closed. So here at the district office, we still have staff working. Okay, so if they want more information, or if they can't get a hold of the school site because it's very difficult to have someone answering the phones at the school site sometimes, and they can always call or email the district office to initiate the process. At least we'll be keeping track of how many parents have called, and then we'll send out the basic registration form for them to fill out, and then we'll have a paper trail of any incoming students, and then we can follow up with the school site and with the parents as well. And then this is an email address that parents can use if they want to send an email. Okay, so just continue to encourage parents to register any new students or TK and kindergarten students. We don't want to lose our students and want to do as much as we can to enroll our kids who are residing in our district boundary. Okay, and that will be all. Thank you, everyone.
Are we done with this meeting?
Yeah, I'll bring it home. It's like a bad Saturday Night Live skit with Zoom as we all look at each other. I think I saw a skit like this 2 weeks ago. So let me just say a couple things before we're done. Number one, again, please everyone think good thoughts of Will as he's defending his dissertation. He's just been an Iron Man for the district, for the employees during this crisis. So I wish him nothing but the best. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Rancho will be doing their kind of parade around the neighborhood the way that Aeolian staff did. So again, Rancho teachers, please, if you're on Class Dojo or things like that, over communicate to your kids when you'll be going out there, and that you'll, they don't have to stay out there, but they'll be hearing you honking because it's important that they know what it is, and so that they can just be out there and they can experience the staff. We have about, I think, 35 cars signed up to go along the Rancho route. So it should be a pretty good experience for hopefully the employees and the kids. On the additional sites, I don't know if you're aware, teachers on under the parent resource tab on the distance learning website, May, our school psychologist, provided us a lot of information on how to talk to your students about COVID-19. It's really intended for parents. So if you can, if you're communicating with the parents, please check it out because it's for all grade levels and for SPED kids. How do you explain to your kids why they're not in school and what resources they can utilize? So please check that out. If you feel that it's salient and could help your kids understand what's going on, please direct your parents to that website so they can talk to their kids about that in all age appropriate levels from TK up to larger grade levels. Lastly, under the professional learning tab, Vivian Rodriguez-Eads over at the middle school sent out to me, educational leadership is like a Reader's Digest version of all of the research and things that are done in education. And every week they have one topic like collaborative learning or PLCs, professional learning communities, Common Core. And this past month, they did it all on distance learning and they made it free to the public. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send it to Jessica to upload it. And for principals, please take a look at it because I think as you review it, there might be some good articles that are only like 2 or 3 pages long that if you had your teachers read and kind of just be thinking about what are the things that we're doing, how might we better understand what we're trying to do and kind of predict what we need to do. But it's just good reading, and I always like reading educational leadership because it gives you the most current information in bite size, 20 different articles on different things, but only 1 page to 3 pages long, but in depth that cites all the resources. So again, I'll put that up and I'll have your principals during their staff meetings next week reference it on their Google Docs so you can see what it is. Okay, so again, if you guys have good information for the cause or you run something off, either send it to Jessica to upload it to the staff resources, or you can send it to me or any of the administrators to take a look at. The sites that we've developed on the website is for you. And so if you find good things, please let us know so that we can update the website and you have good resources for that, okay? So with that said, I wish Rancho School a good luck with their parade. I'll be out there tomorrow at 1 with you guys. And have a good weekend. Stay healthy. Take care.